We've got a packed small business rally point today. We have a super interesting guest and the results of the Midwest Small Business Owners Confidence Survey. I just wasn't convinced that people really knew what was going on with small businesses, so we decided to poll everybody, and the results are going to be released today. Our topic today with that super interesting guest: what if you could take a pill and your brain would function better? Now, that'd be pretty cool, right? Just like the movies, you could read faster, you could comprehend more, and you could get more done. Well, you don't have to take a pill, but our guest today is going to teach you how to overclock your brain for massive performance. It sounds kind of hokey, but it's true. And Cosimo Intermite from Genius in 21 Days USA is our guest. He'll show you how it's done. Welcome to Idea Collective Live, the official weekly meeting of small business owners everywhere. I'm your host, Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Thank you to our sponsors, Bank 59, Quick Trip, Serendipity Labs, and of course, the Idea Collective collaboration community for small business owners. Now, just like every time we do this show, we're just friends, right? We're just talking here. It's interactive. So if you have questions, put them into the chat, and always comments and sarcastic remarks are welcome. We'll work them into the comments and the shows. And then after the show, we'll do the Quick Trip networking after party so we can ask Cosimo more questions or get into it with Liz and JB as we interpret the results of the Small Business Confidence Survey. So let's get into it today, because when I first met Cosimo, I'm like, really? And he's just so much fun. Cosimo Intermite from Genius in 21 Days. He's our guest. Cosimo, how are you, my friend? Are you having a good Monday so far?
Oh, yes, I'm very excited. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, Pat, for this opportunity.
It's my pleasure. So everyone notices immediately your beautiful Italian accent. So how did you get to, you're in Denver, not in Italy. Tell us how you got in Denver and give us a little bit about your background.
Well, when my company asked me, Cosimo, do you want to open an American location? I said, certamente, è un'opportunità. Because I did not speak English 3 years ago, and I was really scared to be here and start a new business. Well, I opened the Denver location. We had many students, over 700 in 3 years. So it was really a massive starting. And honestly, I was really scared to say yes and come here, because one of the things that I had said, Cosimo, you're dyslexic. You will never be able to learn. And you never learned English in years and years of school and all of that. And honestly, I opened my location there. It was going great. Anyway, fortunately, I had another voice which said, Cosimo, you should go there. And actually, when I came here, thanks to the techniques that today we are going to have an introduction to, I learned 6,000 words in 2 weeks, plus the grammar rules. And I was able to hold my first course live here in the US after 5 weeks I was here. This is not to brag, guys. It's just to, and not to show off. It's just to tell you that when we know how our brain likes learning, we can do things that sometimes are not possible, and they can become possible for us. I'm very excited to be here, Pat.
And I'm glad you're here too, because your energy is infectious, and you're going to walk us through an exercise in just a minute. But before we even get to the exercise, sure, can you answer the question that I think I asked you the first time we met of, all right, this sounds too good to be true, right? Is this too good to be true? Because it sounds too good to be true.
That's a very good question. With exercise, I will answer this question even better. But let me start by saying this. Now, the thing is, we have been taught in school different things, okay? If you notice, no one taught us how to learn, just what to learn. So you need to do this test. I will test you, speak properly. Everything, they told us everything what to do, but not how to do it. Now, and they provided us one method, which is repeating over and over, writing over and over, do outlines, summarize. And honestly, guys, how many of you notice that with the method, you can succeed long-term? If you notice, if you start learning, for example, a language, repeating over and over, you can't retain that as long as you want, right? So basically, repetition, it doesn't work. And that creates a common belief that our brain is limited, that we are too old to learn, that we are too young to learn sometimes, that we are not able to retain, we are not able to understand in one time what we are reading. It's all common beliefs. It's not exactly it's not true that actually you can't learn faster. Everyone can learn faster, but you need to know how your brain likes doing that. Okay. So I want to just give a brief metaphor to explain this to you. Let's say if I ask you to change a flat tire of your car, okay? Have you ever tried to do that? I don't know, maybe yes, maybe no.
For
But
sure.
anyway, imagine you're going to do it right now, and I don't give you any tools, okay? You just need to do it with your hands. Are you able to do that?
No.
No, no. Basically, you need to like lift the car with the one hand, and with the other hand, you need to screw the bolts. I don't think neither Schwarzenegger can do that. But anyway, the thing is, what happens is you can be highly motivated in learning. You can believe that you want to really learn, so you want to really retain and learn so much. But the thing is, if I don't give you the tools, you start believing that's your fault that you can change the flat tire because no one gave you the tools to do it. So if no one gave you the tools to do it, it doesn't mean that you are not able to do it, or it's like it's too good to be true. In this case, if I give you the tools, you will see that your car can go faster if you don't have a flat tire. So that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm all for this, solar powered car to go faster. That's for sure. So tell us through the exercise, it sounds like that's the way you can kind of illustrate it. So you've got an exercise for us. So walk us through it so we can go, oh, I can kind of see what Cosimo's talking about.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Today I can't wait to do this exercise. I've been thinking, like, since I met Pat, what kind of exercise can I do for him and for you guys? Anyway, I chose one that would be really good for you. So I want to do this a little bit more fun than just, hi, I'm Cosimo. I teach learning techniques. So it's so boring sometimes. And guys, we are all passive learners, usually in school, but today I want you to be active learners. To be an active learner, I want you to participate, to ask me questions. And one thing, in this exercise, actually, more than anything, I need your collaboration and trust. Can I count on that?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
So I'm going to share my screen with you. So I'm going to do this exercise. And let's start this way. So I'm going to ask you basically a 2-digit number. Okay, you need to give me a 2-digit number. I need to write like a series of 2-digit numbers. So I will start with Pat. So I will say your name. You tell me a 2-digit number. They need to be all different. And they don't need to mean anything to you. Okay. So let's start. Pat.
When we call on people, make sure to unmute your microphone so we can hear you. So I go first. My lucky number is 15. 15.
Okay, lucky number 15. Perfect. Liz.
14.
40. Okay, just a second. Can you make that like, since I'm going to memorize all those numbers, it's easier for me if you put 14. Can you change the number?
Sure. 26.
Perfect. Okay. 26. Perfect. Susie.
36.
36. Okay. Jennifer.
38.
Perfect. Okay. Then Jeff. Give me some numbers like 90 or 60, whatever. They need to be different.
How about 87?
Oh, perfect. 87. Perfect. Van, I don't know.
59.
59. Perfect. Okay. Ted.
77.
77. Okay. Lisa.
44.
44. Perfect. Now, Tom.
81.
Perfect. 81. Earl. We didn't hear you.
92.
92. Perfect. Benny.
13.
13. Jennifer.
73.
73. Okay, perfect. Then Consuela.
24.
24, you said? Yes?
Yeah, 24.
I think so. Okay, Teresa.
I'm 43.
43. Okay, then Ariel.
17.
17. And last one, Tanya.
We'll go with 68.
68. Perfect. Okay, guys, I want to ask you a question. If you had to memorize all of those numbers in order, and you need to know them perfectly, okay? How would you memorize all of them? I want to know, how would you memorize them?
Oh, well, it's kind of
Yes,
overwhelming.
Jennifer.
Come on.
I mean,
Jennifer,
I like to start it with chunks of 4. Like I memorize my credit card numbers, so I know I can do chunks of 4.
Consuela says, take a picture. Yes. Yeah, you can take a picture of that and cheat on the test. I loved it. Okay, so chunk of 4, Jennifer. It was so much fun. So chunk of 4. And then So after you chunk them in 4, then would you repeat them? Or what would you do?
Cry. No, probably repeat them. I mean, I look at it and I look for patterns and I'm really visual. So this is helpful, but
Yes.
I actually would probably repeat it out loud.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Someone else, some other ideas, guys. I want to know, how would you do this? You have to memorize those numbers. Not now, but let's say I'm pretending I've asked you to memorize all those numbers. How would you memorize all of those numbers?
I'd have to write them down.
Write them down. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Other ideas of other ways that you would try and
Would you-
memorize these?
Associate with a song or a tune.
Would you start singing Ariel?
Yes.
I'm kidding. Okay, great. So kind of a song to make this a little bit fun and okay, great. Then what else? Other ideas how to memorize those numbers. Okay, let me ask this question for all of you. Would all of you like use repeating over and over in different ways, like writing over and over, repeating out loud over and over, thinking over and over to this? Yes?
Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, I want to ask you something now. How long would it take you to memorize all of those numbers in order to feel totally confident you can remember those numbers?
It would take hours, hours at least, right? Over and over and over. And I'd have to come back to it over and over and over again. Like I do it now, then I do it
Okay.
again tomorrow. Like it would take forever.
Okay, so basically you're saying that it will take you hours because you need to go over and over the same thing, correct?
That's right. Yep.
So hours, like someone says days, okay, let's say someone says 1 day, okay, and someone says 1 hour, okay, everyone can be in the middle or maybe less, it doesn't matter. Okay, guys, in how long? Imagine like you had a perfect method for your brain that you can go as fast as you want to go. In how long would you like to memorize all of those numbers in order to feel confident that you want to know this? Let's say you had the perfect method. So answer like thinking, you know how to do it, you have a perfect method. In how long would you like to do these numbers? 5 minutes, someone suggests 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay. Okay, great, 5 minutes, I think it's good. So does it mean that it need to take me 5 minutes to impress you or no? Yes, okay, let's do this. I need someone with a stopwatch. Does anyone has a stopwatch to memorize all of those numbers?
Yeah, I can pull up a stopwatch here. No problem.
Okay, so now guys, take a picture of all of those numbers because I'm going to delete all of them after I memorize them.
Okay, JB, you
And
got a picture of this?
Yes, a stopwatch, not a timer, okay?
All right, I got the
So-
timer. JB's taking a stopwatch here. Or
No,
I've
no,
got
no,
the
timer,
stopwatch.
stop-
JB's got the picture. All right, you got
Sounds
the
good.
picture, JB?
Everyone is like,
All right.
okay, did you take a picture, guys? Yes? Awesome.
Yes,
Now, you're going to, who's doing the stopwatcher?
I got
So
the
someone-
stopwatch.
Perfect. You tell me 3, 2, 1, go. I start memorizing all of those numbers. Then when I finish to memorize them, I tell you stop, and you can tell me how long it took me. Okay?
Okay,
When you're ready.
I'm
tell me
ready.
3, 2,
3,
1, go.
2,
Perfect.
1, go.
Perfect.
Come on. I know. Anticipation is correct, Jennifer. I know Benny's already got it memorized. Stop. Done. All right, I got you.
Okay, how long did it take me?
26 seconds.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, so I'm kidding, guys.
So should we stop sharing your screen or?
No. I will leave this here. Otherwise, someone else would think that I'm cheating.
Okay.
So, okay, now I'm going to do this for you. Okay, guys, now I want to tell you something. Why I chose numbers for all of you. Well, I asked you strategic questions to have you realize what your brain thinks when you need to memorize something, but you don't want to memorize something. You say, oh, those numbers, I don't need to memorize those numbers. So that makes this exercise so much difficult to learn. Do you all see that? Second, the numbers are really, really abstract. If I give you like something to read you could understand, of course you could remember that better, okay, later. But a number, either you know it or you don't. That's the second thing. Now, let me tell you something about the learning process itself. Since no one taught us how to learn, just what to learn, we created some blocks in learning. Blocks can be like you feel anxious about, I need to learn this, I need to retain this. It can be like, I can't retain even if I go over and over on the same thing. It can be like feeling distracted. Have you ever felt distracted when you're going to be productive in your job or in your life? Or like, did you find yourself procrastinating sometimes on things that you need to do? They are important for you, but you need to procrastinate because you don't have enough time. Or like, have you ever felt overwhelmed? Ever felt like anxious, or like sometimes that you have a lack of motivation, you don't want to learn things, or you just need to do it, but you don't really want. Ever felt that way? Anyway, there are kind of different feelings that you have, and behind each feeling, there is a block. Now, unfortunately, those kind of blocks, what happens? They are going to decrease our self-esteem, the confidence that we have. And what happens is, if we decrease the confidence, we decrease what? Our focus, our concentration. When our concentration decreases and we can focus, we open to distractions and we feel totally busy, but not productive. That's actually how usually a block works. Are you all with me with this? Okay, maybe I can explain to you something a little quick since we have 10 minutes. So I can, Pat, I told you 10 minutes last time, but it's actually 26 seconds. Anyway, just I can do this for them. Okay, guys, let's say something. Attitude, energy, actions, and results. So I'm actually simplifying the way people achieve results. So if you have a good attitude, how much energy will you have? Low or up? So I mean, a low energy or a high energy? Do this for high, do this for low. High energy. If you have a good attitude, perfect. High energy. Actions. Now, the thing is, if you have high energy, will you take less actions or massive actions?
Massive
actions.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Now, how many results will you achieve if you take massive actions? Low results or high results? Perfect. High results. So what happens? This will increase your attitude. So, and you get in a virtuous cycle of your life. Okay, that you put more attitude, you have more energy, and blah blah blah. Now, let's say everyone is a kid. Everyone was everyone at least 4 in his life, in their life? Yeah. Were you 4 at some point in your life? Great. Now, a 4 kid actually thinks this way. Okay, I want to and I can learn. Okay, I want to and I can learn everything I want. Okay, so now is this like a positive thought or a negative thought for a kid?
That's
positive thought, right?
Sure.
So what happens? Would that lead the kid to a negative attitude or a positive attitude in learning? Of course, a positive attitude. That's why kids always ask why. Have you ever been victim like the kids' why phase? I have been, but I will tell you that story another time. But anyway, then we have energy. Of course, think about a kid. A kid is like bored. No, actually, a kid has a lot of energy. They always move. That's why they take massive actions. They are actually unstoppable, right? So then what happens? Of course, they achieve results. I want to give an example. Mom, can you buy me an ice cream? No. Come on, I want an ice cream. No. An ice cream? No. Come on, an ice cream. No. An ice cream? Daddy, can you buy me an ice cream? No. Mom said no. Come on, Mom and Dad, I want to. At some point, 10,000 bowls of ice cream just to shut up. Did they achieve their results? Yes. That's why they are in this virtual cycle of learning. Because they know if they keep behaving that way, they will achieve what they need and they can learn anything they want. Then this kid goes to school and they have a good attitude, energy, and they tell you, sit properly, look at me, stare at me, take notes. Hey, I'm a man, I can do one thing at the time. How can I stare at you and then I can take notes? I don't know how to do that, but anyway, I will try. And then what happens is you start like, then they tell you in 1 week, I'm going to test you on this thing. And then what happens? And you say, teacher, how can I know everything for test? Well, you need to repeat over and over, write over and over, do lines, summarize. Now, long term, you know that this doesn't work. How many of you learned Spanish, for example? You didn't use it for 6 months and then you lost it. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you know that basically repeating over and over doesn't work long term, but they tell you that. So what happens? You go to the test and maybe you go blank. Okay, you go blank, and what happens? This result will influence your attitude, yes or no? Yes, and it becomes like, this is called doubt. And this becomes like, maybe I can learn, maybe I want to learn. Now you go ahead in this pattern. What happens at some point? This becomes a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. At some point, maybe become, I don't want and I can't learn. And that's why some of you says, I can't retain, I can't do math, I can't organize, I feel only overwhelmed. And that's why actually this leads you to have anxiety. Then what? You feel frustrated. You can feel perfectionist, okay? You can feel different ways, okay? Defeat, it depends on what block you have in your life, okay? Or in your learning. But it's not you. Your brain works really well. The problem is the wrong method. They didn't give us a method. They didn't give us a tool to change a flat tire. And that's why we can go as fast as you want to go. Are you all with me with this?
Absolutely. This makes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, now you understood what a block is. And honestly, guys, one message that I want to give you right away to you is this. Stop blaming yourself because sometimes you can't do something, or because it's your fault, or because you feel guilty because you don't do enough, or you don't have enough time, and start questioning, what kind of method can I find that my brain likes using? What's the method my brain likes using? What's my way to do that? If you understand how your brain likes learning, then you're going to succeed in anything you need to do. Because if you can go as fast as you want to go, you don't feel bored, you don't feel anxious, and you don't feel frustrated, because you're getting done the things that you need to get done. Are you all with me? Do you all follow me with this?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Now, I want to tell you something. There is something that I will tell you the numbers, I promise, okay? The thing is, that actually everyone has in their mind something. As the time goes by, I will lose confidence in what I learned. Is it clear for all of you what it means? Let's say that you learned Spanish 6 months ago. The more the time goes by and you don't use it or you don't repeat it, what happens? You lose confidence on the information that you learned. Do you follow me? Yes?
Absolutely.
I need to understand this. It's a key concept for you. Basically, we're saying that a lack of confidence, it's a lack of method. Okay? So the more you lose confidence, the more actually your brain doesn't know how to do it to keep it in your mind. So a lack of method is a lack of confidence, and vice versa. Yes, you use it or you lose it. And honestly, who says that? Jennifer? Yeah, Jennifer, I want to tell you something. Actually, that's a common belief with many people, because either you use it or you lose it. Most of the times people use information to repeat them, not actually to use them to speak with some. So let me give an example. If you're learning Spanish, what happens is you go there and you're using Spanish, not because you know Spanish, but because you want to repeat what you knew. And that's why it's like for your brain tricky to find the right word, to speak fluently, and blah, blah, blah. Because you're doing two things at the same time, learning and repeating something and using something. But anyway, these are two different processes, learning and then practicing. Anyway, close this parenthesis. If you want to know more, then you ask me later. Now, guys, that's why I didn't tell you the numbers yet. Because if I don't, no problem. I can give you a Taco Bell gift card if you want. So I love that, Susie. So anyway, guys, I'm still talking to you and I didn't tell you the numbers. According to you, am I still remembering all of them? Yes or no? If it were you, okay, if I were you, would you remember all of those numbers? Yes or no? After this time that you're talking?
No chance.
No, because you need to repeat and then you need to feel more confident and blah, 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 okay? Now, what I'm talking about is this. I'm going to tell you the numbers and then I will tell you the message that I want to give you. I'm going to cover my eyes, or if you want, I can turn it the other way. But you notice that I don't have anything on my wrist or anything on my ears. I mean, I have my earphones in my ears. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you the numbers. So digit by digit, I'm going to tell you the numbers. Maybe I didn't read one digit, but it's okay. So I will see if I can recall that. Okay, guys, are you ready? We have a digit by digit. 1 5 2 6 3 6 3 8 8 7 5 9 7, 7, 4, 4. Then we have 7, just a second, no, 8, 1, 9, 2. Then we have 9, 2. It's 1, 3, 7, 3, 2, 4, 4, 3, 1, 7, 6, and 8.
Stop it. Stop it. Come on. That took you 26 seconds, and then you talked for 5 minutes explaining all this stuff, and then you did that. Stop it.
And that's why, guys, I want to tell you something. You can make something not possible, possible. When I learned English, 6,000 words in 2 weeks, plus the grammar rules. And they always told me in school, you are stupid. You can never learn it. You are dyslexic. You can never do that. At some point, I was accepting some limits on myself. And I said at some point, no anymore. I think my brain learns it in a different way. I need to find out how. And that's why then I came to the course. I learned so many things. And now I want to change people's lives, because everyone has inside something that you want to bring out into the world. And I know that if you know how your brain likes learning, how much the world will be so good thanks to you guys. And so basically, I believe that we can make something not possible if you know how. So thank you very much, Mike. This was an exercise.
Wow. Okay.
And,
we have questions, Cosimo. I
know.
We have questions, my friend. First of all, that was incredibly impressive. And my mind is blown. If I'm interpreting what you're saying correctly, we need to learn how we learn and then apply great methods to do so. Are those two separate things, to identify how we learn and then how to take those methods, or are those the same thing?
So basically, how you learn and the method actually is almost the same thing, but it's not the same thing.
Okay.
So the tool that you're using to change the flat tire are different from the mind that you're using or the way you will do it. Okay. So the thing is, after I give you the tools, you use them in the way your brain needs to use them. So basically what I do, I customize the method on how people wants to learn. Now, the thing is this, people can have different cognitive styles. So different way they need to process the information. They need to elaborate the information and all of that. You give them a technique. Then you tell them, hey, your brain actually needs to use this technique this way. And then after you use it, you have the result that you want to have in whatever you want to learn. If you imagine you can learn, like 2019, I read 83 books, 44 in 12 days. And for me, it was like, and I created a new course thanks to that. So for me, it was like, what? You're dyslexic. You can't learn that. You can't read that. And now you are able to do it? Yes, because dyslexic doesn't mean that you have a learning disability, which is what they call it. They call disability. It's actually a superpower that you don't know how to use. All of you guys has a superpower, but you don't know how to use it. I want you to feel that superpower. That's why I'm here today.
So let's talk about what some of those methods might be. Now, if the course is available and we go through the course, we could actually learn how to practice them. But we were throwing out some ways to use methods to remember that long string of numbers. Did we hit on any of them that are good, or can you give us some general ideas of the types of methods that are used?
Wow, there's a huge question, this one. Okay, let me be specific. Let me go through some questions. Yes, I can answer something of this today, but I can say something to you guys. So Susie was asking, some people have a photographic memory. Okay, now let me tell you something about this. Yes and no. I'm very bad in photographic memory, okay? But I will tell you why. There is two different kind of memories, visual memory and photographic memory. There are two different memories. Sometimes they are confused. Photographic memory is the 2% of the overall visual memory, which means that on 100 pages of a book, you know exactly where the sentence you're thinking is in. You know that there is a picture there, how the page is structured and everything, but you can't read the words. So actually, that's a photographic memory. It did its purpose. Memorize basically the structure of the image that you're seeing. A number goes behind that, because either you can see each like digit, but for your brain, this thing or the other thing are not different things. It's just an image, or it's just like something that's not enough photographic. Okay, maybe you can remember very well, like let's say, let me give another example. You can remember very well people faces, but you don't remember their name. And that's because your photographic memory works really well. The other part of your memory doesn't recall that thing really, really well. So visual memory, it's totally different. The visual memory is the ability to create images in your mind. So in this case, for example, if I ask you guys to picture a pink elephant with dots, would you picture that? Are you able to picture that? Yes or no? So that's a visual memory. So you're thinking about an elephant, making that pink and with some dots on. So creating, it's a visual memory. All your creativity comes from your visual memory, which is the 83% of our brain, and it's really unused. So what I used to memorize those numbers was very visual memory. And of course, it's customized on my brain. Now, if you ask me, Cosimo, can you tell me how I memorize the numbers? I'm not going to tell you that today for one reason. The first few times I did that, people were saying, oh, this doesn't work with me. I would say, for sure. Do you know why? Because I memorize the things in a different way, then your brain will do it. You need to find your way. And when I tell you what your way is, you are going to do it. So I don't want to create any preconceptions more than you have till now in learning, but I can tell you everyone can achieve their result, not only on numbers, because numbers, honestly, guys, it's very useless. But if you need to do that on a book or on everything you want to organize, on a project or a training that you want to hold, or a training you want to take, a test that you want to take, that becomes super fun. And I mean, you can be a superhero in that case, a superpower.
Well, and I know that you're going to share a course with us in just a minute. So, but I want to ask
Sure.
a couple of more questions and then we've got to move on with the rest of the show. So let me get in a question on this. Let's talk about speed reading for a second. Is that something that is possible
wow.
for anyone and you can teach people how to do that?
Very good question. Okay, now, speed reading. It's not possible for everyone. Let me tell you what I mean. In my field, I need to be honest with you because I approached different speed reading courses and they told me it's good, but it was not good for me. And I said, I may be dumb. That's why I can't do that. Now, speed reading courses don't work with everyone. They work with people that already have strategies to speed up in reading. Let me give you an example, okay? So the thing is, this is your brain. Let's say it's your brain. You put a piece of information inside, okay? The problem is then you want to recall those pieces of information that you put inside of your brain, okay? Now, the thing is, if the information that you're putting into your brain are unorganized, it would be like throwing your clothes in a bedroom. You know you have socks, but you don't know where they are, okay? Now, strategic speed reading, it's different. There is a difference between speed reading and strategic speed reading, okay? Now, what's the difference? Now, if you have strategies before you start reading or working or whatever, you're going to organize your brain. And once you organize your brain, let's say this is a drawer, you know exactly what was then inside, and then you know what you can recall later. If you speed up and you don't have any strategy, okay, you're going to put many pieces of information in your brain, but then it's even faster. You didn't even see the socks going there. So you're going to lose even the details that you are going to see when you're reading. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, if you don't have strategies that you speed up, you're going to lose even more of the details when you're reading. You don't enjoy, you don't understand, your comprehension goes down. None of you is going to apply it. But if you have strategies before you start your speed reading, so that you know where the pieces of information are going to be in and they're going to be stored, okay, your brain is prepared to receive the information so you can find them later. Is it clear for everyone?
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense because what good is speed reading if you don't remember what you've read? That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I know that you want to share with us a course that we can take. And Lisa was asking, how can we learn what kind of learning styles we have? What is the course that you have for us to take? And I think you're going to offer it to us to take it. Is that right?
Sure. Yes, I will. Now, thanks to you, Pat, I will do something that I thought about. Anyway, so basically, guys, I want to invite you all to the Learning Blocks course, which is basically a course that you will know everything about what learning blocks you have. Because the very first step to start learning faster is to understand how what our learning blocks are, how they work, and we are going to analyze ourselves from the inside. It will be so much fun. There will be tests, questions. I will give you also 2 unblock strategies that will give you back at least 50% of your time, and it will give you 50% more of your results. It's really incredible. And the thing is, this course is usually $800, but I want to give it to you for free if you would like to come, because Pat invited me here and I thought to give back to this community. He thought of you very highly, and I said, I want to have those people surrounding me. I really want to have them coming to this course. And so that's something that I can give it to you. What you should do is I will put my number inside of the chat, and you are going to text me there. So just a second, because I copy and pasted, but it didn't work. 7430, perfect. Okay, so you can text me there and I can send you the link as soon as we finish with the meeting. And one other thing to tell you is, if you come to the course, I want you to come with like, okay, I want to learn. And with your questions, with your goals, so I want you to take this like, let's say for granted, or like, I will come, we'll see. So I want you to come like, okay, what's my goal? What I really want to learn. I will send you the link that will allow you to think about what goals you have, but it will be great. And this is my offer to you, Pat, and to all of you, and to your community. So I would like really you to come. Oh, when is the course? That's another very good question. The course will be June 3rd. Okay. June 3rd.
June 3rd.
From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Time.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And Cosimo, it's such a pleasure to see you again and talk with you again. Thank you for all the information today, and thank you for the offer for the course. And I know that the chat has been filled with people that are curious and have a bunch of questions.
Yes.
And hopefully we will see you again soon. But Cosimo from Genius in 21 Days, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. So let's move on here, and we're going to go into the results of the small business survey. So we've got on the call today, we've got Liz and Jennifer Buchholz are going to help interpret the survey. But before we get into it, I want to talk about it. The Midwest Business Small Business Confidence Survey, I launched this thing because I was not satisfied with the answers I was hearing from the media and others about how they thought small businesses were doing. It just didn't seem to ring true to me. It sounded like every time they talked about small business, they just talked about how bad we were all doing. And knowing all the folks inside the Idea Collective, I knew that wasn't the case. I knew some of us were doing pretty darn good, and we were hanging in there, while some of our other colleagues were doing terribly, and we feel for them, and we're trying to put our arms around them and support them as well. But the other reason why this was so important to put out right now is that everything is changing. Now that the vaccine is taking hold and the virus is under control and we're starting to get some public policy changes, I really wanted to know what's going on with economic conditions and how are small business owners feeling with their confidence between now and the end of 21. And I just didn't see anyone getting this data, at least in our area. So I thought, you know what? We're going to put it in the field, and we're going to see if this can not only be a one-time survey, but a survey that we can repeat moving forward, so we can create a metric that people can look at and see how small businesses are doing. So we brought in two of the leaders of the Idea Collective to help interpret the data: Liz Watson, the strategic planner and leader on the Impact Trail, and Jennifer Buchholz, our lovable, engaging geek and founder of Excel and Flourish. So Liz is going to handle the qualitative part. JB is going to handle Liz is going to handle the qualitative. Who's doing qualitative? Who's doing quantitative? Liz, come on here and help me out. Liz, which part are you going to have, and why don't you present that information now?
The numbers, Pat, the numbers. So the quantitative. All right. Here we go. So we'll talk about the numbers first, and then Jennifer will give some additional insight on some of the open-ended questions that were asked throughout the survey. So at least to start, right, as Pat said, it was the Midwest Small Business Survey. So understandably, with our first one, right, with the Idea Collective based in Wisconsin, but we did have a few neighbors in Illinois and Minnesota jump in. So that was great to see. So of course, we'd want to expand that. So one of the questions really asked about the impact that the pandemic had on business operations. And I think to your previous point, Pat, this was really interesting, because if you look at these numbers, looking at very positive all the way through very negative, boy, when you add up the very and the somewhat positives, you've got some big numbers there. You've got 49% that are feeling great, feeling good about things. And if you add neutral onto that, we're at 69%. So, right, in general, most people were saying, okay, yes, it had an impact, but saw it in a neutral to positive perspective. And one of the other questions was, so based on where your local economy is, how are you feeling? What do you think the economy will be by the end of the year? And again, here, if you look at those who said, hey, I think it's going to grow, or I think it's at least going to stay the same, if not get better and grow, if you combine those two, that's 82%, pretty fantastic. So yes, like Pat said, there certainly were small businesses that had some hard times through this, but I think a lot of the very small or micro businesses, we're seeing some good things come out of this. So the next question asked about confidence regarding that small business's revenue goal that they set for the year. So I thought this was interesting, kind of to see this scatter, because we had some all the way down to 0, right? Like, okay, absolutely, I'm not going to meet the revenue goals that I set for the year. All the way through up to the upper right corner of this graph, you'll see a whole bunch of 100s, because they were asked on a scale from 0 to 100, what is your confidence? So this is interesting because there were dots all over the board with this. So people feeling less confident all the way through folks saying, oh, I'm definitely going to hit revenue goals. And related to that revenue, then it was, so for your revenue, how is it tracking? So Pat wanted to give the sense for the confidence, but then when you think about how it's tracking, this was interesting too, because if you combine those that thought, hey, my forecast is at or near what the goal was set, or it's above the average, again, combine, that's 66% of the respondents to the survey. So lots of goodness in the numbers. So now I'll switch it over to Jennifer to give a little insight on the context to some of the open-ended questions.
You know, JB, before you jump in with that, can I ask you a question, Liz, real quick? It looks like if you go back 2 slides to the confidence, how do people feel about their goal right there to the goal slide? That's not a bell curve. There are way more people reporting 50% or better than there is 50% or below. But then when you compare that to how they're doing so far, their results are showing that they're not at, you know, a disproportional at or above their revenue, meaning it looks like people are more confident for how the rest of the year is going to go than how far the year has actually gone so far. Am I interpreting that correctly?
I think you're right, Pat. Exactly. Right. There's still 6 months left to go. And yeah, maybe so far it started well, but right, people are really seeing the potential for the second half of the year.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, thank you for that. JB, you want to jump in with some qualitative stuff here?
You betcha. So here are a couple of the qualitative questions. New products, process, or method of delivery that you started that you're going to keep after the pandemic. So one example was a new delivery method where some sort of pet service, whether it was grooming or veterinarian, was doing pet-only appointments. So again, just think about like how they can really just move things along. I'm not sure what that's like from the customer experience, but just, again, it's a new thing and they're going to keep it after. A new product line, an example was operational leadership for small businesses. But what we saw more and more was just new tech. So Zoom for all the things, doing live virtual events, a lot of podcasting and videos, online courses, and for everybody in the real estate or home staging and stuff, it's the virtual home showings. So again, interesting to think, they're talking about this is what's going to stay after as well. It's not just what we had to do, it's not how we had to pivot, but it's also what's going to continue after. Okay, so then we looked at how has coronavirus pandemic affected your business. So we definitely had, what we did was we took the results based on what they said, whether it was negative, neutral, or positive, and then we took it to applied it to their comments. So negative, devastating, 50% of 2019, essentially killed it, major pivot, slowed down, lost customers due to their revenue downturns. So that was the negative side. Then we get to, then we get to the neutral. So the neutral was that they started spending more time on marketing. The customer behavior shifted and the market changed dramatically. And again, those results were coming with a neutral type of connotation that they set, not that we did when we did the evaluation. And finally, the positive. So many words around focus or saying, or refocusing, saying no, more intentional, a mindset shift, prioritization. Many said there was an expanded reach with more opportunities. There were a couple people in this particular survey that said, lost my job, started my business. They made deeper connections with their existing clients and made process improvements, especially with, again, all the tech that was being added. So these were some, again, we broke it down based on the negative, the neutral, and the positive. And then, can you describe the current business climate? What factors are affecting your business, and what are you watching for? So we had a wide variety here. Some companies had the best year ever. There's rebuilding. There's inconsistencies. I think there's still an ebb and flow. The business and economy seem to be slowly recovering. People are getting out, but there's caution. Travel is restarting, and there's uncertainty and pent-up demand, not only for travel, but for a whole bunch of other things. Anybody in the events space right now is definitely starting to feel that push. Cautiously optimistic. And then on the flip side, hiring and finding staff is one of the biggest challenges we're hearing for a variety of reasons. Employees are going back to the office. We're hearing more and more of that, and the timeframes happening in the Milwaukee area for sure. And events are coming back to Wisconsin, live, outdoor, even maybe indoor events are actually starting to happen. So that's the crux of the qualitative stuff.
Now, if you go back one slide, JB, you'll see every other one of those has uncertainty baked in. So there's inconsistent, there's recovering, there's cautious, there's cautiously optimistic, there's going back to the office, there's the change in how people are gathering. There's a lot of change and uncertainty. So when I see that qualitative stuff and then compare it against this optimism that's there, that doesn't seem to line up to me. Does that surprise you at all to see the qualitative and the quantitative not necessarily align?
Well, keep in mind that there's a lot of people who aren't going to respond to the qualitative questions. If we looked, we probably had about 50% of the people who took the survey actually respond to the qualitative questions.
Okay, so not
that
everyone.
Right. So that may be some of the disproportion that you're sensing.
Okay, that's good. Liz, let's go back to you with the quantitative. What surprised you in this data? Did anything jump out at you that you weren't expecting?
Boy, honestly, I think you just captured it well, Pat, that seeing a lot of those comments, but still seeing that positive nature. I mean, I'm with you. I thought I expected to see some positives, but maybe I didn't expect to see so many positive results in the numbers, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's exciting to see, and it's encouraging looking forward. JB, anything jump out at you as you sifted through either the quantitative or the qualitative?
Well, so Liz and I did put our heads together to mutually nerd out on this, and that was a lot of fun. And it only made me think of what else I really want to know. I really want to know, what is the industry, and are they B2B or are they B2C? The questions just kept coming, which is the fun part of playing with data.
Right.
And I know that the whole intent was to keep this super simple. We just wanted people to get in, get out, get their answers in. But I hope that by putting this stuff out there for people to see, we're going to start getting more people who want to participate in it, because this also could help them make meaning of some of the things that are going on around them. And again, not feel so lonely and isolated. So I just think this was a really great starting point.
And I think that's the right way to look at it. It is a starting point, because if I have my way, I would love to make this a monthly exercise, but this is where the whole idea collective part comes into it. I can't make this a regular, consistent exercise without help. So I'm looking for some distribution partners that have a group of people they could share this link with to help get some results in, because I think created by small business for small business, we could create an index and a real monthly piece of data that we could all value. Because as you sit here right now, if someone asked you the question, what percentage of small business owners do you think are positive about where the economy is going? I wouldn't have said 82%. I would have said, maybe 50, 60. I think we're feeling pretty good. 82% is a pretty clear indicator. And then a 69% net positive score about where we're headed. in 2021. I mean, I think those two things are really, really powerful, and that's why we do these surveys. So if you want to be involved and help us get this survey out to more people, I'm talking with some other folks about maybe putting this out again in June, because I'd love to do a monthly series release of data so we can be more in control of the narrative around small business and where we are going. So thank you to Liz and thank you to JB for your help today interpreting the data. I really, really appreciate it. All right. So before we sign off here and get off to the Quick Trip networking after party, we've got one more exciting thing. We're launching our new contest. So we like to put out a new contest every month with Quick Trip because you know what? You should win stuff too. Why not? So it's our summer kickoff contest. We've got a $50 Quick Trip gift card. Like imagine running through Quick Trip and a snack spree for $50. Like that would be tasty and fun. Maybe just go straight to the beer cooler, whatever you're into. And we're going to give you a $50 Home Depot gift card for either your honey-do list or a cooler or, you know, a blow-up pool for the kids, whatever you need it for. But two really great gift cards to get what you need to make sure this summer is fun. And here's the catch. You got to enter to win. Like that's it. There's nothing creepy or weird about the whole thing. You just got to go and put your name in the box and you might win because darn it, you deserve to win stuff too. So I put the link in the chat, hit the link and enter the contest. We'll make a winner just after Memorial Day. Also a reminder, if you're not a part of the Idea Collective yet, our good friend Jeff McCarthy, who's on the call, and our friends at Bank 59, they're offering a free year in the community. Just open a business banking account with them. If you want to learn more, hit bank59.com/Idea Collective and you could get a free year in the community. So thanks to Bank 59 for their support. Also, thanks to Cosimo and JB and Liz for coming on today. The show, of course, sponsored by Bank 59, Serendipity Labs, and Quick Trip. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. We're off to the networking after party, and I'm sure we're going to hammer Cosimo with 1,000 more questions. Thank you for tuning into the Small Business Rally Point today. We'll see you next time.